What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This one I've had a lot of fun thinking about and creating, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Now, if you're familiar with the iPhone 13, it just came out this year. This thing came jam-packed with a ton of new features, a couple of which I'm very excited to talk about today. So that's what we're going to do here in this video. So as a content creator, a photographer, or what have you, it's important to have some really good tools at your disposal, whether it's your DSLR mirrorless camera or even your cell phone. That's what I love about this iPhone 13, in particular the 13 Pro Max. This thing came jam-packed with features this year, and I'm really excited to talk about it. One of which being adding RAW photography to the camera. Another one, cinematic mode, and then ProRes mode. So let's talk about each of those just a little bit. First, RAW. Now, if you guys are familiar with raw images, what a raw image does, it takes the image that you take with your camera, takes that picture, and you're able, when you're editing, you're able to control all of your highlights, your tone, everything every little detail about that picture. You're able to control a whole lot better in editing versus a JPEG where you don't get as much flexibility. So adding that to a device like your cell phone, being able to take raw images, top notch. I love it. Another feature that was added to the phone was cinematic mode. Well, this is part of your video camera. Cinematic mode basically gives you the blurry background image in your video, makes it look a little bit more cinematic. ProRes, on the other hand, is a higher quality video likened to what raw images do for your photography. ProRes does for your video. Allows you to push and pull highlights, control your color, allow for better color grading, and all of that. ProRes is a lot better to work with when it comes to video work. Now, so what are some of the ups and downs of each of these features? Well, as we mentioned with raw photography, raw images allow you to control your editing a lot better versus a JPEG where you don't get as much flexibility. So the upside is you have that flexibility to edit your pictures exactly how you want to, get the exact tone, the feel, the definition, everything that you want to push and pull out of your image. You can do that with a raw image. Of course, raw images, they do take up a bit more of your space versus a JPEG, but it's nothing that's too significant to where it'll hinder your device storage. That would only really be the only downside that I see coming as a photographer, is that the size of the images, but it's not unmanageable. Now, cinematic mode. Now, we mentioned cinematic mode for your video. Cinematic mode works by having, it takes the image from the video and it blurs the background, and it allows you to focus on what needs to be focused on and leaving everything else blurry. So if something is closer to your camera, that's going to be in focus. And then of course you can adjust that to focus on something that's in the background, leaving the front subject blurred out. The downside that I see to this is if you're looking to do 4K in cinematic mode, you can forget about it. This is only available in 1080p. And I believe it's only 24 and 30 frames per second with cinematic mode. Can't go 60. With ProRes, it does take a little bit more to edit these, edit ProRes video, but you do get a much higher quality video when using the ProRes feature. Here's the downside to the ProRes feature. it takes up a ton of space. I believe one 10-second video probably cost me about 1.5 gigs worth of space on my phone. So that's something to be mindful of. Another downside is ProRes also does not do 60 frames per second. You're only going to get 24 and 30. So that's something to keep in mind. What's the takeaway from these few new features of the iPhone? Well, as a beginning creator or a beginning photographer, some of these things may or may not be deal breakers. They may not be something that's going to make or break your decision to buy this phone in particular. As someone who is deep into content creation, who loves to do photography, you may not be able to have your camera on you all the time. Honestly, this is a really good substitute. I've been testing this feature for the past couple of weeks since the last update, all of these features, and it's blown my mind. And I mean, this is coming from someone who is a beginning content creator. This is a really good device to use, especially when you're on the go and you have those different editing options. Now, another thing to keep in mind, iMovie has been updated to be able to edit ProRes. It has been updated. The only thing I would say about that is you should probably look into using something else, something like LumaFusion, to edit your ProRes videos. As much as I love iMovie, I started off using iMovie. It's a great program on both the Mac and your mobile devices. It's a good program, don't get me wrong. However, with this ProRes video, I do recommend using something like LumaFusion, which is going to be able to handle something of that magnitude a lot better. That being said, should you get this device? If you do, I promise you, you won't regret it, but make sure you get one that has a good amount of storage space. I have the one that's 256 gigs. Also with the iCloud space attached onto that. So I've got some space to work with. And that's something that I would suggest to you watching this video. Other than that, guys, again, it's a great product. I love it. Apple came through with this one. Now, if you guys got value out of this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell so whenever I upload new videos, you can get alerted. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and don't forget to level up. Peace.